I'm Jeffrey Avellanosa.
Hi, my name is Ana Pauline Abos.
Hi, I am Mary Joyce Andre.
So, hi guys, I am Jisamiway Abalye.
Hello everyone, my name is Nicole Arda.
Hi there, I am Vincent Arnibal.
My name is Marjorie Alonso.
We are the Group 1.
Digital self in a digital world.
My topic is online identity and self in the cyberspace. I, me, myself, and my user ID online identity.
My topic is all about the impact of online interaction on the self.
And my topic is boundaries of self online, public versus private, and individual versus social identity online.
My topic is all about digital self, online disinhibition.
How we can protect our digital self.
While the world is condensing, we humans are expanding ourselves. Extended self, also known as digital self, is the mask we wear in the technological world. TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, and YouTube are just some of the social media we use, wherein we build our new identity. The identity that we have control over with. Are we the person we say we are in the online world? We all know that in the digital world, we can fake our smiles in the picture. We can control how we look in the way we want other people to perceive us. We can take hundreds of pictures until we get the right angle and the pretty smile that we want to put in our Facebook stories. In this world, our identity are mostly based on the characteristics we like. Some of it we have, some of it we just want others to think we have. Hence, in this new identity, we can find friends and lessen the feeling of being alone and feel like we belong. This gives comfort for some of us. However, pleasing other people won't make us genuinely happy. Comparing our lives to others, comparing their accomplishments in life won't help us with ours. This new world that we live in is not bad at all. This, if we would live in it in the correct way. Instead of feeling bad about yourself when you see happy posts from your friends on Facebook, make it as an inspiration to also have yours. If you think that you don't have the characteristics and accomplishments that you are proud to share with others, work for it. Don't do it to please other people, but do it for yourself.
So, good afternoon everyone. In this afternoon, we would like to tackle about digital self in a digital world. So, before technology came, we have a simple life and there's no secrets. We read books, write on a paper, travel to communicate with other people personally, and many more. So we show our feelings and express ourselves and call it our true self. So today technology is everywhere. So most of us use technology because we think that it's really beneficial to us and makes our life easier. But in technology, we are also creating this digital And self wherein we have a mask that protects us from any insult or any danger. So we all have a true self that is complex and fragile, but ultimately is our essence. A goal to share that self with the world, we seize tempted selves to manage the day-to-day anxieties and any other challenges that come before us. So when we talk about digital self is what we are inside the digital world. So all of this technology has come at us so fast and furiously that we haven't had the time to think about how our relationship with it shapes our very identity, what you post on Facebook, what you places you shares online, and who you connected to on Instagrams and the venues you check in the Twitter. So all say something about your personality, and increasingly it's a process people manage with meticulous detail what we watch, where we go, what we like and what we dislike online are no longer random acts, but self-defining choices with meaning. So according to Russell Belt, in 1988, he believed that our possessions are major contributors and are reflections of our identities. Before, we love buying either colorful clothes or one specific color, eat foods, jewelries, and everything that is considered as part of ourselves. So today, with technology, we can no longer be away with our smartphones, gadgets, and everything that is related to technology. So most of us nowadays, people spend a lot of time to different gadgets, smartphones, and everything that is related to it. We sometimes panic if we forgot it or lost it somewhere. Why do we have to have digital self? And according to the researchers such as Stone 1996 and Hemisberger 2005, we are trying to explore or experience different self which differ from our true self. Like we want to meet the expectation of others, to boost our self-esteem and the sense of belongingness. People nowadays thought that every information we found on the internet are all true. So we don't know the harmful effects of the digital world. In fact, the digital world has given us greater opportunities to express and show our identity in any form we want to. But we all need to remember is how will we feel if we go so far to express ourselves differently online that we forget what is reality is. So worse, we end up begrudging it. The world today is digital and we ourselves construct in it.
Online identity is a term used to define how we present ourselves on the internet. Each website we visit will have a different picture of who we are. We interact differently with each website we visit. Online self-extension refers to the ability to expand your sense of self beyond your physical body, and it occurs online through the content you share on social media. Your online profiles, whether on a website or on a gaming site, those are only the examples on how to make up your online persona. Russell Belk introduced 5 digital dimensions of self-extension. The first one is the dematerialization. Since we can store media online or digitally, this means that our physical possessions are now virtual. Our possessions such as images, videos, music, and information are now all immaterial and can be saved on our electronic devices, which we can access at any time with a single click. The second one is the re-embodiment. So re-embodiment, this is how we represent ourselves through avatars and change our appearances through the use of filters and photoshops. that we establish a massive difference between our online and real life personas. The third one is the sharing. It is easy to share information online, and by doing so, we reveal some aspects of ourselves, but always keep in mind that there should be a balance, what we post and what we should keep in private. Co-construction of the self, which means that we are collaborative with the other social beings online. Let's say, for example, the social media. It is rapidly utilized for communication and interaction, which contributes the development of our unique and extended sense of self. This is based on the reality that social media sites are increasingly seen as critical sites for psychological growth. The non-digital objects that make up the extended self can frequently create a feeling of the past by connecting us to the people or events from our history, and this includes the images, videos, stories, or any digital memories that can be stored or archived for later viewing. Example of this is your Facebook memories. Selective presentation can change depending on who we are interacting with or what personal information we need to present to be acceptable to others. Selective presentation. So in the online world, we still feel the need to fit in and impress others to leave a good impression. And as a result, selection presentation takes place. For example, if you are a content creator on social media, you choose what content matters to your viewers or what content gets more likes and reactions. So, as a result, you choose what to share. There are two types of self-presentation. The first one is the pro-social presentation. So, it includes the behaviors that present a person as a role model to increase one's likability and attractiveness. So, pro-social strategies are aimed at benefiting others. For example, a boss can ask her employees by maintaining high standards, corporate ethics, model that behavior in her own activities, and compliments others who do so. The second one is the self-serving self-presentation. This includes actions that portrays a person as incredibly competent, willing to take challenges, and not to be messed with. Self-serving strategies benefit the self at the expense of others. For example, a supervisor may publicly take credit of the accomplishment of others or publicly criticize those employees that fails to meet certain levels. Impression management is the effort to control or influence other people's perception. This could be a perception of a certain person, including you, or an event. Example lang nila silbi na kay uyab. Nga, nag-share kasi imong parents sa batasan sa imong uyab nga buutan, loyal niya, caring pa jud. Kay parang impression nila sa imong uyab is kanang nindot, kanang bukan imong uyab. So, pagsulti nimo ani kanang mas naay chance nga mas magdugay mo kay ganahan man ang imong parents sa imong uyab.
Impact of online interactions on the self. When interacting with people, we automatically make inferences about them without even being consciously aware of it. So, kana bitawang natay bagong tao nga maka-encounter or mamit, di ba naman dyan tayo first impressions towards that person. So, we cannot help but what they are thinking about, what their facial expressions mean, what their intentions are, and so next is this proposes less emotional involvement and cognitive effort than interacting with human partners. So it describes that social interactions are so demanding and it requires more emotional involvement and cognitive effort. It is clear that visual interactions are much more easier kaya wala may emotional and cognitive involvement. Online interactions and social media platforms are also beneficial due to the fact that it is provide opportunities to identify development. So according to the research of Valenzuela et al., through these platforms, young users report increase of self-esteem and general well-being because of the positive feedbacks in their social networking sites made by their friends. However, online interaction cannot reveal our true feeling and can decrease people's happiness level. So it is easier to hide our emotions behind an email, a Facebook post, or a tweet. So dili na sad ma-develop ang kasuya or selos if makakita or makatanaw sila og post about achievements sa ilang social media friends. And ang uban ana kay i-compare na din nila ilang kaugalingon sa ubang tao nga inana. So ang online interaction kay na siya positive o negative impact. So these are the positive impact of online interaction on the self. First, social media sites inform and empower individuals to change themselves and their communities. So through online interaction, nasa Timalarin, right? So there are many vloggers or influencers out there nga ilang content naghatag og information and entertainment to online users. As well as online interaction can be used as a tool to help the community in terms of tourism by creating a page which is to promote o unsa man ang ilang i-promote. Second is the increased self-esteem when receiving many likes and shares. Of course, kasi di mo increase ang self-esteem o makareceive daghang reactions sa ato ang post, di ba? So the next one is boost one's moral and feelings of self-worth. So as I said a while ago, when our post gain many positive reactions, comments, and shares, we are happy for the reason that brain releases dopamine, which is a happy hormone, and this encourages us to improve and do better. And now let's move on to the negative impact of online interaction on the self. First, extensive online engagement is correlated with personality and brain disorders like poor social skills. So while social skills deficit have long been linked to mental health problems like depression, a new study links poor social skills to poor physical health as well. Those who struggle in social situation may be at greater risk for mental and physical health problems. So that's because people with poor social health tends to experience more stress and loneliness, which can negatively impact our health. Next is low self-esteem due to the risk of being exposed to cyberbullying and cyberpornography. We all know what is cyberbullying and cyberpornography, right? So, dili lang jud na makapalo og self-esteem na yuban mohantong jud sa suicidal. Lastly, more occupied in giving attentions to social media than in keeping their customs and practices. So, socially active in social media is not that bad as long as kibo lang ka sa imong limitations and you know how to handle yourself from being a mindful online users and kibo ka sa pagdisiplina yung kaugalingon and control yourself from visiting inappropriate or prohibited sites. We should also practice time management in using social media. That's all. Thank you. And now, let's move on to the negative impact of online interaction on the self. First, extensive online engagement is correlated with personality and brain disorders like poor social skills. So while social skills deficit have long been linked to mental health problems like depression, a new study links poor social skills to poor physical health as well. Those who struggle in social situation may be at greater risk for mental and physical health problems. So that's because people with poor social health tends to experience more stress, and loneliness, which can negatively impact our health. Next is low self-esteem due to the risk of being exposed to cyberbullying and cyberpornography. We all know what is cyberbullying and cyberpornography, right? So, dili lang jud nga makapalo og self-esteem na yuban mohantong jud sa suicide.
Boundaries of the self online. So we have here public self and private self. So let's go first for the public self. Public self, it is the part of a person that he or she decides to show to the world. How a person want people to view him or her and how he or she act around others. It is a framework of a human nature in order to hide their original self from others. According to Nicholson, the behaviors change in different setting is normal in nature. For the private, a person's private self is his or her true self. The way a person acts around others is not the same as how you act when you are by yourself or when with people whom he or she is comfortable with. It is the personal emotions, morals of a person, and what a person hide from most people. So we also have here individual versus social identity online. For individual, your offline identity is the real you, the one your family and friends at school know, your personal information like your name, age, where do you live. When you're in cyberspace, your offline identity should remain a secret. So we also have here social identity, internet identity or IID, also an online identity or internet persona, is a social identity that an internet user establishes in online communities and websites. Your offline identity is the real you, the one your family and friends at school know, your personal information like your name, age, and where you live. When you're in some websites also use the user's IP address or tracking cookies to identify others.
Self in the cyberspace, digital literacy, being able to understand and use technology. For example, understanding how to use web browsers, search engines, email, wiki, text, Photoshop, blogs, video creation, editing software, PowerPoint, or etc. Digital literacy abilities enable you to discover, use, and generate information in a productive and helpful manner on the internet. Knowing what digital literacy means, you can use technology securely and avoid its hazard. Online disinhibition. When conversing online, one feels a lack of assumption. Cyberbullying and groupthink are further encouraged by the disinhibition effects of internet culture. This is a real-life effect, a gang of adolescents. For example, may bully a classmate online then feel empowered to bully him or her in person. Every person behaves differently in virtual space that they would in face-to-face interactions. There are types of disinhibition: benign disinhibition and toxic disinhibition. Benign disinhibition, behaviors in which people might self-disclose or more on the internet that they would in real life. For example, uban sa tabang sa internet, anonymity, ang mga tawo mahimong magpaambit sa personal nga mga pagbati or disclose themselves in the way that they are reluctant to do in the real life. Then ang toxic disinhibition represent an increased tendency towards online flaming and inappropriate behaviors. For example, Mugawas ang mga bastos nga mga sinultian, mga bangis nga mga pagsaway, kasuko, kasilag, bisan mga hulga, kanang. Alternatively, users may investigate including pornographic and violent sites that they would never visit in real life. This is referred to as toxic disinhibition.
So next, I will be discussing on how we can protect our digital self. So here are some tips for us guys to help to protect our privacy and to protect ourselves online. So guys, you can't lock down all the things all the time, but you can build a personal protection plan that makes sense for you. So, samot na nga naata karon sa pandemic, it is very important for us to protect ourselves and to protect our privacy online. So diri na to maistoryaan guys kung unsa or ang mga tips nga unsaon pag-protect atong kaugalingon online. First, I want you to look in the mirror. Start your security assessment with what's known as a threat modeling exercise. Ask yourself what you want to protect and from whom you want to protect with, and estimate the likelihood that the specific parties would compromise your data. Plug the high-risk holes first. Everything else, you can sweat a little less. So, sa pag-assess na to guys, dili na to mapadali kung asa na to angay protektahan o para kag kinsa na to protektahan ang atong kaugalingon online. Next is master your password. A good password manager generates, stores, and updates all your passwords with a button press. The actual passwords are encrypted and accessible solely by you, but the system is only as good as your master password. Use a key generated by Diceware method, which randomly select words to build a complex but easy to remember phrase. So, guys, it is very important nga ato jung hinumdumag maayo kung unsa na atong mga password, and please dili na to angay i-share ang atong password sa bisan kinsa man, kay this is the best way for us to protect ourselves online. And this is also to protect our privacy, guys. Next is ditch Touch ID. So, kapamilyar maguro tatanan kung unsa na ang Touch ID, diba? Kay mostly of our phones is accessible by using our fingerprints. So, it's a neat way to quickly unlock your phone, but your fingerprint sensor is also one of the easier ways for someone to access your device. So, dili kaayo siya assurance if magsalig lang ta sa atong fingerprint sa pag-access sa atong phone. So, we have to think of it this way. It's as simple to wrestle your thumb onto your phone, not so for the strong passphrase nested in the corner of your brain. So, muna siya guys. Next is avoid cookies. Cookies are small bits of code that are temporarily installed in your computer when you visit a website. Even after you close your browser, cookies continue to track your information. So, that's why guys, when it is very important for us to clear cache after closing your browser, because kanang once ganina na-close na nimo ang browser, the cookies will continue to track all your information you use on that website. So that's why we need to clear all the cache, delete the cookies to protect your privacy. Next is know thy settings. It is also one way for us to protect our digital self. You won't believe what Google knows about you seriously. Personal information, search logs, browsing habits, location, all of it stored and used for ad targeting. Unless you know how to navigate your privacy settings, find them and learn how they work. Granted, you won't be able to opt out of everything, but you'll definitely mitigate the intrusion. So guys, it is also very important nga ato jung i-review ang atong settings. However, we can also we can also customize our settings, guys. Like on Facebook, di ba, kung mo-post ka na ay settings dito nga for only me, friends of friends, and you can also hide the post to someone, di ba? Next is layer up, or the two-way factor authentication. Requires you to provide a second method of identifying information along with your password to earn access an ever-changing 6-digit code, a fingerprint, a retina scan, an MFC key. Many web services offer this option. Take advantage of it. Set up takes a few minutes and you may need to download an app, but 2FA, or the two-factor authentication, is one of the best way to prove it's really you trying to download files from your Dropbox folder. So guys, dako siya kining tabang ang two-factor authentication kay karon nagayos at ko ana, because diri na to may bawaan kung naay someone ma-notify ta kung naay someone nga nag-try og access sa atong account, like on Facebook. So ako ni siyang gikuan sa settings para sa two-factor authentication, and it is very helpful, guys. Like the hacker, na someone nga nag-try og hack sa akong account, na notify ko nga na day nag-attempt to log in my account. So dili siya ka log in because wala man siya code nga na-receive. And two-factor authentication, guys, requires it's up for you nga ang imong gamiton is ang imong email or ang phone number nimo para masend sila og code to access your account. So that would be all. Thank you, everyone.